Assassin's Creed has been a gaming household name for a decade now, and has released a dozen games with each one always coming up with new and unique setting to explore. This time I'll talk about my favorite aspect of each Assassin's Creed game. Now, if you watch my previous video, you know that AC1 is my favorite game in the series. Well, that's mainly because of the world building of the game that feels very immersive and a lot of environmental storytelling of each of the location. Like, you feel the oppressiveness and poverty stricken by walking in the district of Acre, or the feeling of home and welcoming vibes in Masyaf. Players' actions after completing the assassination target always have a subtle impact in the world. Like, guards are expecting the assassins to come back, so they're more on the edge and attack you if you break low profile. There's so much more to talk about the subtle beauty of AC1 that I could make an entire video discussing about it. Assassin's Creed 2 is one of the best AC games and one that catapulted the series into mainstream. The best aspect of the game was obviously Ezio, one of the best characters in gaming with charming personality and a lot of charisma. Ezio's character arc is one of my fondest memory in gaming history, where I still replay the games every year. Every time I think about Assassin's Creed and the character that had the most impact, it's always Ezio, and the man who even got his own trilogy because of how much everyone loves him. Ezio defined the series, and can you imagine what Assassin's Creed would be like without Ezio? My favorite aspect of Brotherhood is the side content of the game that perfectly complements the main story and the main conflict. What I hate about most open world games are the pointless side contents that don't add anything to the story other than padding out the runtime of the game. But Brotherhood, like Witcher 3, is one of the few games where the side quest actually adds to the main story, and it's actually something Ezio would do in the world. The main conflict in the game is about purging the Borgia's influence in Roma and building back the Brotherhood. Every side mission is about destabilizing Borgia's influence, with destroying powerful new weapons, systems like tank, fleet destroying both. Some of the missions are aiding the factions that support the Brotherhood. Other missions are about Ezio himself during the Christina mission about his tragic romance. Everything in the game was very meaningful and didn't waste your time like modern open world games do. The best aspect of Revolution was its script. The conclusion to Ezio and Altair's story was some of the best writing in the series and one of the best script in gaming in general. I still shiver every time I watch the final moment where Ezio meets the skeleton of Altair. This is what Ubisoft took from us in the newer games. You just don't have the same character impacts and moments like this anymore, where everything in the end is just meaningless and don't have any impact on the future games or on the players themselves, like how Altair and Ezio's story connected in those 4 games, always influencing one another despite being centuries apart. The best aspect of 3 was the Homestead mission, where it developed the character of Connor, and well as in immersing the player into the setting of the game. I just enjoy seeing the interaction between Connor and his community members, as well as assassin recruits. These missions also covered the other aspect of Connor's character that showed more of his personality, and was a really good supplementary piece to the main story and development of Connor. The best aspect of Black Flag was a perfect balance between the assassin fantasy and the pirate fantasy. The script was really good, and the character of Edward was one of the best characters of the series, alongside Ezio and Altair. The exploration side of pirate fantasy was a great and very rewarding experience, and also provided the outside perspective of the Assassin-Templar conflict. Unlike the newer games, they forgo the assassin fantasy aspect and goes too much into the new fantasy, whether being Viking or I guess fucking demigod, which made no sense. The best aspect of Rogue was the ship combat, where they improved the combat and added some great features that made sailing more enjoyable. The enemies having the ability to board you was a great idea that added some tense moments while sailing. Unity had many new features and would be great changes as evolution if the game wasn't rushing to release. My favorite aspect was not the parkour system, since I preferred the original system. My favorite aspect of Unity is the immersive and densely packed city of Paris. Never before have I seen a city so densely packed with thousands of NPC rendered in at the same time. No game had done it before, and since then, 9 years later. Crowds are an essential part of Assassin's Creed that has been missing since Syndicate. Unity does it better than any other game. Well, I didn't really enjoy Syndicate when it came out, and even now, but one thing I always appreciate it for are the black box assassination mission. The missions are like a smaller version of Hitman games, where the mission gives you multiple ways of doing the missions, and finishing it will have different assassination scenes based on how you completed the missions. These missions were fun, even if they were sparingly used. Origin has one of my favorite historical settings in any medium, which is ancient Egypt. I just wish there were more ancient Egypt or Egyptian Caliphate setting in video games and films. My favorite aspect of Origin is the open world, which is the most beautiful open world I have ever seen. The golden desert of Egypt are second to none. Origin just have some of the most beautiful and jaw-dropping shots in all of gaming. The draw distance of these games are just a whole nother level. Odyssey? Just no. The game doesn't exist. Anyway, moving on. Now for last, Valhalla. The best aspect of the game was definitely the siege missions. Even though it forgoes the assassin fantasy in favor of Viking fantasy, it is still a great experience overall. The build up to the main assault was fun, and had a lot of decent to interesting character interactions. The main assault itself was extremely satisfying, partaking in large grandeur battle to take control of massive fortresses just like history class lectures and books regarding the Viking invasion of England. The only downside is Valhalla doesn't have a mission replay to relive those moments, since a huge portion of Valhalla is just bland.